Namaste. Welcome. I'm Debbie, and I'm so glad that you joined me today. We're going to do a really sweet restorative practice. And this is one of those practices where we get out all of the props and we're going to relax and just let go a bit. But because of the shapes of the poses, I think you'll feel a little bit opened, a little bit refreshed, even though you're relaxing in the poses. So let's make sure that we get out our props. We'll set them up all first. You should have a couple blocks, your strap, and a bolster, and also two blankets. And you might want to take that first blanket. Actually, you know what? We're going to gather all the stuff up first, and we're going to set some of the props up so they're ready for us when we need them. Because I always hate coming out of a pose and having to figure out, you know, a strap or something first. So let's do that first. If you would please grab your strap, and I want you to make a loop. I want you to make a loop in your strap, and it's going to go around your shins. So we don't want it tight, but not too wide either. So we're going to use it make the loop about this big. And we're going to use that for some of our later poses. And just have that to the side for when you're ready. I'll give you a moment to set up that strap. Like I said, about this wide. You can even go down and feel your shins, put your shins together and put your hands around them and just get a good idea of how wide you'll need that strap to be. Good. Okay, looks like everybody's set up. So I'm gonna set up the props at the back, and first I'm gonna take one block underneath the top of the bolster, and I've pretty much pushed it to the top of my mat, so it's just a little bit lifted, and you kind of have to play with it until it feels just right for you. Just have all your props handy here. And we're gonna start in a Virasana shape. And you know what else? Having a blanket for your head on top of that bolster there at the back, it's nice too. So you may or you may not want that. But start with a block underneath your sitting bones and bring your knees close together. They don't have to touch. And then just pull the calf muscles back and just feel the Virasana and just see how this is today. So if it's not easy, you can sit up and put a blanket in there, and even the strap can go in there. That sometimes feels good for people. And you can sit on the block because I want it to feel easy. Even if you know you can sit on the floor in your Virasana, sit on a block today. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do half the asana on each side. And we're going to try to move into the full asana at the end. So I'd like for you to shift onto your right shin, put your right hand on the ground and grab that foot and just put it flat on the floor. And then to go deeper, you're going to take the hands on the ground and lengthen the tailbone forward and then start to guide yourself back. Try to keep the right knee on the floor and come all the way back. Now you can see you're on a lot of props here, so if it feels too high, you can remove some if you really find it necessary. But just remember, we will be staying here for a while. You can place your hands on your hips and just see that they're pretty square. Notice if they feel square. And perhaps you're feeling a stretch in your quadricep. But if you don't need all of these props, I'm going to ask that you at least use some of them because this is a restorative practice. And you can rest your arms down beside you, or you can grab your elbows and reach your arms up and overhead and just snuggle the arm, right back to the edge of that bolster. And then from here, we're just going to breathe. There's a lot of silence in restorative, but I will cue a few things. And if you have your card flipped to green today, I know that means that you're welcome and open for some modifications and some guidance. You can feel the root of your bent leg. You can gently press that forward. and try to soften into the right groin. That might help. You can try stretching that left leg out on the floor. Stretch that. Very good. And just imagine that you could breathe into the quadricep area, the front of your right thigh. And then we'll take one more breath in this pose. And then we'll put the hands on the floor. You can push yourself up and then lean on the right hand, moving out of the pose really carefully. You can close the shin on the left side and put that leg back into Virasana, and then hold the right shin. You can bring it up and bring yourself back. And then when you're ready, you can lift your hips, lengthen, come back down on the elbows, lengthen that tailbone forward, and come all the way back. And once you get there, just check in. How's that left knee feeling? And if that knee is unhappy, you can sit up and put something between the calf and the knee. If it's floating up off the floor, you can put a blanket under the knee and see how it feels. But if you're good, you might start with your right hand on the right side and just gently guiding that side forward, just to try to level your hips a little bit, to kind of square them off as best you can. And then you can rest your arms down beside you. And where you can grab the elbows, you can take the arms up and overhead and breathe. And just notice, how is this side? We're usually all very lopsided, right? So if this is the easy side, I actually recommend not moving to the extreme edge on the easy side, but sort of minimizing it just a little bit. Doesn't have to be even exactly. I'm a bit more conservative on the really flexible side so that it's not quite as extreme, especially in our restorative practice. You can just have your inner thigh releasing more towards the earth. Perfect. thigh is just gently guiding forward. Good, perfect. And if it feels good, you can straighten that right leg out if it feels good for you. You can release your arms and bring them down beside you. You can put your hands on the floor and again press yourself up. And now we're going to do both legs. So lean onto the left hand and hold that right shin and close the knee fully. And then you're going to guide the top of that foot down, and we'll just take a moment. There are props that you need. And those of you who are very comfortable here, you may find that you don't need either the blanket or the block, but I'm going to ask you to, if possible, to stay with it today, just because it's a little more relaxing for our restorative. But you can put the fingers on the floor beside your feet, lift your hips, and lengthen your tailbone forward. You want to start to lower back down and walk your hands back a little more. If you feel like one of your knees is getting off to the side, just come back up. You might have to loosen the strap around the knees and put it around there. And this is actually really lovely, especially if your knees are asymmetrical. But again, you're not squeezing the knees together as you are just holding them in. And just notice um, around the whole leg. And we'll go back again. We'll lean back. We'll lengthen the tail forward. Walk back onto the forearms. Lengthen the tailbone forward. And lengthening the back body as you come into a back bend. You can get the shoulders under. You can release your hands beside you and just take a moment here. Check it out. Do you need to come out and shift anything? Can you stay here for 15 minutes? If that answer is yes, great, stay as you are. But if you're not sure about that, put your hands on your thighs and roll the outer thigh up and the inner thigh down. And hopefully that'll make your back, the back of your pelvis and the lower back feel a bit wider. And then you can rest your hands, maybe on your belly, or maybe one hand on the belly, one hand on your heart. And you can let the weight of the hands on the belly, on the chest, and you can just sink the chest and sink the belly. But hopefully you have that feeling of opening and expanding and exposing our fronts without needing to feel protected. And once you feel that sense of drop, if you could grab the elbows and then take those arms overhead. But if that feels too much, please bring the arms back. And if it ever feels too much, just come out and adjust your props. And if your knees have had enough, you can do this pose with your legs straight. It is a beautiful pose. Just sit up, stretch your legs long, and come back on the same support. Close your eyes if it's comfortable for you. And I'm just going to be quiet and just breathe on your own. It doesn't have to be big or full. Just watch the breath as you inhale. Just imagine the breath expanding, opening the inner body so the outer body receives that. And as you exhale, the inner body drops, it retreats. You can feel the outer body soften. But again, we're not trying to push it in any way. It's smooth and it's sweet. can bring your arms down beside you again and push down into the elbows, the forearms, the hands. Press yourself up and come back to your Virasana. And just pause. You can keep the eyes closed if it's comfortable for you. If you had that strap on, you can loosen that up now and come out of the strap. You can slide it off. Just come out really carefully. I'd like you to just put one hand on the floor and grab the shin of the opposite side. And you can place that foot down. Lean on to the other hand and grab the shin, bring that foot to the ground, and then lean back on your hands and just slowly stretch your legs out straight. Just taking a moment to let your knees firm and to feel the backs of the legs. And we're going to set up for our last pose. So we're going to do legs up the wall. So get your booster. You can use that. But if your bolster is too wide or too soft, you can use folded blankets instead. And if you're using the bolster or the blankets, you want to put it about a fist distance from the wall, but not right at the wall, but make a fist and put that fist between the wall and your bolster or your blankets. And again, just play with it. Find just that right place. See if the bolster is in the right place. And again, a little bit away from the wall so it feels like the tail drops down the wall between the bolster and the wall. And there's that soft little back bend shape even here. And just take a moment, just get everything just right. And you can grab that strap, grab the loop, and you can put it around your feet. I like it at the shins, but a lot of people like it around the thighs. But tighten it up again, not crazy tight, but it's just so you don't have to work or lean your heels on the wall. And then one last time, just tuck those shoulders under and just make sure everything is just nicely well done. It's nice and restorative. And just take a big belly breath. Inhale. And exhale it out. And now this pose is designed to be held for 15 minutes, but you may find that with all the restorative work we've done, that either you'll stay here for a while and fall asleep, or it'll just take a few minutes and you'll feel the liquids drained from your feet down your legs. So I'll stay quiet for a few minutes. I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Now we'll slip the strap off gently and roll over to the side and see if you can come all the way off the bolster. Just lie on your side for just a moment. And press in with that hand again. Come on up, and just to finish, let's sit on that bolster and sit comfortably. And just one last time, feel the effects. How do you feel now? And we'll bring the hands together in front of the heart and seal this practice in and just feel the softness, the openness, and the taking good care of self, and for all the benefits that this practice hopefully brought you. And just want to thank you again for joining me for our 60-minute restorative practice. I do plan to offer more of these in the future, and I hope it landed well for you. Feel free to stick around after class and provide any feedback that you would like. Thank you. Namaste.